What's up, YouTubers? It's Ernie, Blerd Without Fear. We are back for issue number 2 of Avengers by Jason Aaron and Ed McGuinness. And this is kind of an interesting little book because I feel like Marvel and DC for the past, and they've always done this, but I feel like especially for the past year, more so than any other time in the company's history, have been playing off of each other and using very similar story arcs and story beats, for all of their big crossover events. And I know there's this whole thing going on right now where Marvel and DC have basically confirmed that they share the same multiverse, something that came up during the Infinity Prime countdown. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But if you are reading both this Avengers series and Justice League No Justice, you would probably go, these are kind of like the Armageddon and Deep Impact of comic books. And for those old enough to remember those movies, there you go. But anyways, before we jump into this issue, if this is your first time checking out my channel and you want to see more awesome videos like this one, it only takes 2 clicks to become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers. Click, click. So this issue, and I find this really interesting, is mostly narrated by Loki, and it's not really a huge reveal by the end of it because A, it's in green text, B, it's also in the same font that are used in all Asgardian speech bubbles and narration boxes. But that's neither here nor there for right now. Basically, everything is still kicking off from where we last left off. Doctor Strange and Black Panther are taking on those bug-like minions of the final host, miles beneath South Africa, while Ghost Rider is tackling them in East LA. All the while, Captain Marvel is trying to get the Celestial that she caught falling through space to some place that's not Manhattan. And while all that is carrying on, Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man are battling the final host with less than desirable results. Nothing can hurt them. Even Thor, with gold-plated Mjolnir in hand, is no match for even one of the final hosts. The real fun in this book doesn't really come from the action with the final host, but when Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk, or technically now just Hulk, becomes involved. She-Hulk, since the events of Civil War II, was in a weird place. With Bruce Banner Hulk being dead, she was there to fill the void that he left, but the problem was that she'd lost control of her powers. Gone are the days where she had more control of her rage than Bruce Banner. She became a monstrously more hulked out version of herself that was near impossible to calm down. And now that she's gotten a little more agency over her powers, they're still wildly uncontrollable. That being said, she does not ever want to turn into the Hulk again, but the option is taken away when Captain Marvel drops the Celestial she was carrying to save Thor, and it crashes down before Jennifer Walters, overrun with more of those weird bug minions, causing her to freak out, and the Hulk emerges. The Celestial speaks to Jennifer and she understands it. Isan, the Celestial, yet lives, and he mentions a quotey fingers cure. But to what? We find out a little later that this cure is the final host, their mission to eradicate all life on Earth. Jennifer is teleported away, oddly enough, smack in front of a speeding hell charger driven by Robbie Reyes. Jennifer, still hulked out, is in no mood to talk, and we get a nice little battle between the Spirit of Vengeance and the Raging Hulk, even seeing that she's powerful enough to crush the hell charger and can take a blast of hellfire to the chin and walk it off. Neither can take down the other though, with Jennifer Walters being a little more than a match for Robbie Reyes. The thing that gets them both on the same page is when more of the final host minions arrive. With Carol Danvers prepping a guerrilla tactics warp grenade strike on one of the final hosts, and Iron Man playing escort, Cap gets taken down while flying one of the Quinjets, and this is when we see that Isan is still able to fight, and he comes in and charges in with the Avengers to keep the attack pressed on the final host. But the problem is that he's still weakened, and even if he were not weakened, he probably still wouldn't be a match for the final host. Like I said, we don't really have any names to go with on these guys, but the main one, the one that's kind of Grim Reaper-esque, he rips his head off. This is when Loki brings up something interesting about the Avengers and the dynamic between them and himself. They call themselves Avengers, but he's certain they don't understand what that word truly means. What do they have to avenge? Well, he seems to believe they've never been scorned or rejected by their families or been hunted down to the ends of the earth and beyond. He definitely feels that he has experienced those things, that he's the only one who ever actually avenges anything. More importantly, if it weren't for him, there would be no Avengers. And for that reason alone, he is the greatest Avenger of them all. And he has come with the final host to help them destroy the Earth in an effort to avenge the greatest wrong of all time, the birth of the human race. I find the story really interesting if for no other reason than the fact that right now both Marvel and DC are running storylines with very similar plot devices and very similar stakes, but both stories are handled completely different. This one I think is a little more scaled back. It doesn't have as high of a cosmic ramification, like there aren't other planets at stake, it's just the fate of Earth. But one feather in the cap I actually will give this story arc over No Justice is that I think I like the dialogue better and the character interactions better versus No Justice. Not to say that the character interactions in No Justice aren't like, interesting or anything, they're great, but there are just scenes in these books where characters like Doctor Strange and Black Panther are interacting and it's just amazing. The fact that Jason Aaron is addressing the fact this is a Captain America who people still recognize, even though he's not the same Captain America, they still recognize him as being a Nazi, or at least having recently been a Nazi. And kind of going back to the Black Panther and Doctor Strange aspect of things, even though it's not really featured in this particular book, I am still trying to figure out why we haven't gotten more Doctor Strange and Black Panther pairings in the past, because they work ridiculously well together. That being said, I do think No Justice has higher stakes, even though the stakes are very similar. This feels like a more personal story, and with less characters than what No Justice has at its disposal, I think that's actually kind of a feather in the cap to Marvel on this side of things, because that means that characters on the Avenger side of things are going to have more likely a chance to get more character development than a lot of the characters in No Justice are going to get. It's the same problem we kind of ran into with Metal. Amazing story arc, but a lot of characters got short-shifted. Not only that, I feel like Jason Aaron is a better long-form storyteller than Scott Snyder. Scott Snyder is a great storyteller, but man, he really peters out in the end. I feel like Scott Snyder is very akin to my city's own Memphis Grizzlies. They can be up by 40 points in the second quarter and be down by 50 in the fourth. But I don't think anyone is really necessarily copycatting the other, because both of these stories were put in development at roughly the same time. So stuff like this happens in movies all the time, video games all the time, anime probably even more so, and comic books are just as equally to fall prey to it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let me know what you thought about Avengers number 2 by Jason Aaron. Sound off in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, Hulk smash that like button. And if you want to see more awesome videos like this one, make sure you click subscribe so you can become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers, and make sure to tap that bell so you know when I post up. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and hopefully I'll see you all next time. Plus Ultra!